So I think it goes without saying that, well, it does, doesn't it? That when I point out, like with the groceries this afternoon, when I point out, even hint at how dumbed down and ridiculous all this is. There'll be some attempt to run around and establish that it's anything but. So we had a scenario tonight, as you know, we all should have anticipated. You know, this is how Atomic Habits and habit stacking works, where there's an attempt to make a big deal out of my meal. So it's sort of that psychiatric ward type bullshit. What again? Anyway, it never really gets it. It goes anywhere. But it sort of seems to me like a way to try to establish power and all that type of stuff, and keep the ball rolling, like I've said before, countless times, and sort of engineer certain scenarios to, well, basically keep their ball rolling. It's all pretty, sort of stuff. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it tonight because basically, not only was it quite amusing. I mean, there was a Skinger, which I mean, I haven't really seen that much green, but a Ginger also is useful, like the colour green, in terms of a few things that I won't go over, but sort of me knowing, sort of works for me, sort of thing. So we had this big display of, like I called at the time, the human zoo, a cross between a human zoo and a circus. Anyway, yeah. And, I made the point of saying, meanwhile, in the real world, I'm having a beef joint. And the thing is, I actually cooked something that I didn't think I'd be able to make, and that was a beef joint, and I cooked it really well. It was as properly cooked as I could have done it, and I was really chuffed about it. So yeah, so not only that, but how it was pretty amusing to see, especially in retrospect, to see a load of trees going all over the place. Yet again, as I'll say, working for powers I don't particularly understand. I'd argue they don't understand at all, despite the fact that it's really dumbed down stuff. But maybe because, I mean, I can't see so many people go with it if there's not a perception of how dumbed down it is. For example, the colour green. How many people over time have run around on the theme of green? And now we're getting gingers and all sorts of stuff like that. But again, both, have connotations for me that are pretty useful for me. That's why we may not see many gingers about anymore. We may not see much green about, and so on and so forth. But yeah. So we had loads of stuff as well, like, I did say about people who congregate outside the flat, but all this stuff I could pour over. But basically, it's psychiatric ward type stuff, and it's just a repetition of that: drug-ins, snag-ins, and so on and so forth. Basically, serving a form of power that aligns itself with care, and it's a type of care that I don't think helps people at all, in my opinion. That I'm aware of. I would argue, as I've done in the past, and it's a valid perspective, that the way these people approach, and the type of people I know have gone into psychiatry, it's, to me, it's best avoided. I have to work with it. Unfortunately, I find myself in a position where I ain't really got much choice. Uh, in some ways I don't mind, but in others I do. Uh, it's like if the notion of institutional model of mental distress is anything to go by, despite the fact that tonight, there's been no distress, there's been no, despite the attempt to engineer things like distress, it just don't go anywhere anymore. But the crazy thing to me is, like what happened around the groceries this morning, which I'm sort of guessing what happened tonight was sort of around that. And the lead up to this shrink, and me pointing out what may happen in the lead up to seeing this shrink on Friday. They sort of give it the runaround sort of thing. To me, it's crazy, really crazy, but that's the way it is. Sort of. If you've got people running around concocting this human zoo turned circus, pretty pretty crazy stuff to observe and to play around with. But yeah, it was really enjoyable tonight. I've really enjoyed myself, and I haven't enjoyed myself in that sense for a long time. It really was enjoyable tonight. But this is stuff that I'm not particularly interested in. There are more interesting things, like, for example, I am chuffed, I'm buzzing that I managed to cook a beef joint so very well tonight. Really did a good job on it. I've still got the aftertaste now. That's how good it was. But yeah, I'll just have trees running around, all the rest of it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, no one dressed in green. That's quite interesting. We had a ginger. Now, we may not have gingers after I've pointed out about gingers, like I pointed out about green. Occasionally we do see green. There's some phrase that we used to say as kids, trees are green. And I don't know, when you tie it all together, I suppose. You could actually make the argument, not that I'm particularly interested, that maybe there is something in that trees may indeed be green, the way they're put up to running around here, there and everywhere. But yeah, so yeah, with like I said earlier, around the fact that when you do point out how crazy this is, even elements of it, not to mention all of it, they run around and try and, because, like I said earlier, maybe, just maybe, I don't know, but maybe they really do see some propaganda and public relations notion in it. I don't know. I'm not telepathic. I can't read minds. But yeah, me now, I just look at it and don't. It's best to just leave the human zoo. leave the human zoo turned circus at the behest of the ad men and women, and just get on with it, and which is pretty much what I did. Despite really enjoying myself, when everything all said and done, yeah, I made a great roast beef joint. Had 2 sandwiches with it, 3 spring onions. I really like spring onions. I haven't had spring onions for ages. It's got to be years. I don't know why, because they're really nice. But anyway, yeah, had a bit of Coca-Cola, Coke Zero to wash it down. This is life, not the stuff you get going around here. The really, I'll say it again, the really dumbed down stuff that you get going on around here at the behest of shrinks and associated people. So yeah, so it's a great way to start the week, isn't it? Even though, no, it's Saturday, not even Sunday yet. So yeah, if I hadn't pointed out It looks like it'll be an interesting week, but not particularly for me. As you know, I pointed out earlier. Yeah, yeah, I don't bloody know, but yeah, yeah. Glad I saw that game. There could have been more green. Because I do need these things. There and again, it is the type of stuff that lets you see, well, there you go, sort of thing. But yeah, hmm, quite interesting that I did more beef joint. I managed to cook it so well in an air fryer. I'll have you know, as well. I didn't think you could cook them in there. I was getting ready to cook it in the oven, but I haven't even got a pan for the oven, a tray or whatever to cook a joint on. And it did taste so good that you wouldn't need an oven. I don't know why. In this day and age, people still use ovens for cooking something like a joint when you can do it so well in an air fryer. But yeah. So anyway, a bit of enjoyment this evening. Quite a bit of enjoyment this evening. Uh, so yeah, and now I'll sort of settle into the evening. What time is it? Yeah, it's just gone 9 p.m. Been sleeping well lately. That may not last in the future. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not in charge of the way things are done, and I'm pretty much glad that I'm not. I don't, I take no pride in what type of jobs done. Again, I'll repeat. They can take this any way they fucking like. How truly dumbed down what I see is. Whether that's going on behind the scenes, whether that's going on out there, I really don't know. I'll be surprised if it was. No one's that dumb. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, whether people are dumb or not, uh, the the event of the day, the only event worth talking about today, was I made a great beef joint.